Hello everybody and welcome to MFL Total Access. We've got a very, very special guest today. Jonathan Evans, the Commish.
That's me.
Will's going to be happy. He's wearing a Notre Dame
Go
shirt.
Irish.
So how's it going, John?
I am really, really tired after Brossard today. It was really hot and we lost twice, so I'm tired for no reason.
That's great. So before we start, since you're on the show, I would like you to talk to us a little about how did the MFL start?
Well, the league started, I think, 7 or 8 years ago. I had moved back from the United States. I've been there for a few years. Didn't really know anyone around that played football. Well, yeah, still that's the case. I didn't know anyone who really played football, so I was just trying to get my friends and stuff together to throw a ball around, and it was like a headache. So I started posting on Kijiji saying or I think it may have been Craigslist at the time.
Does that still exist, Craigslist?
Well, it did at the time.
No, but does it exist now?
Oh, it is, but it's like all just like spam and.
Okay.
I don't think anyone uses Craigslist. Anyway, this isn't to dump on Craigslist. So I was just trying to get people to play, and it was a real hassle. So I started using Kijiji, and people started coming out, and so we had these pickup games in the park, and I met a lot of the guys who are still in the league now. And it was just literally whoever wanted to play showed up. We made teams and we played, and we would just play like all day long. We would just start in the morning and play until the evening. And slowly over time, we were getting more and more people, so that we sort of said, okay, we have to start making teams, because otherwise it's just a cluster of random people playing. So we did that. I made the app. I made a website. We started, having some stats and some teams and some seasons. Started looking up rules. I met Simon, who was into the rules at that point as well.
And he was one of the players that showed up?
Yeah, he was one of the original guys who showed up. And went on to be the head ref for the MFL, and so just over time it got to a point of there was more and more work to be done. Everyone was just volunteering at the beginning. Everyone was just volunteering to ref, set up the cones, set up the field lines, all that stuff. But we got more and more professional, and it was actually Josh Levine's wife, Alex, girlfriend at the time, who said to me one day when I was like rolling up the field line, she was like, you could charge people for this. So it's her fault that you have to pay.
All right. Interesting story. And now this season we hit an all-time high, 47 teams in the Saturday League, 7 in Brossard, total of 54 teams. What's your goal? Where do you see this going? Are we going to have playing on multiple locations?
I'm going for 55 teams, people. I feel that we're going to have to expand to more days in Montreal. Maybe a weeknight league. A lot of people are talking about that. Maybe just some tournaments that we play. Maybe a Sunday league in Montreal. I'd really love to get Brossard going more because it's got a lot of growth potential. Le Bear as a park is kind of at its max capacity, so I don't think we can bring too many more teams in there. But we'll try to get, if we have more than 48 teams next year, we will try to get a second, but we'll have to get a second park to accommodate that. And hopefully next year we'll be able to start a little earlier, so we're not
earlier than 9:30.
No, earlier in the year,
okay,
in the year, and 6 a.m. people. That's no, but earlier in the year, so that because when did we start this year? It was
started in June.
Yeah, it was June. We want to start basically doing the pickup tryout games in April.
Yeah. And
so start the season in May.
Yeah.
I know some of you crazy guys were playing all winter long.
Yeah.
Clearly it's doable.
Yeah, pretty crazy to think that we've been playing some days 24 games in the same day.
Yeah.
There are 24 games, four
had
fields,
several
6 time slots.
24 games.
Fields for Kevin to put down and pick up.
A few years ago, we didn't even have 24 teams. So there's been a lot of growth. And thanks for all the players who have joined. I love it as a place where we can all hang out for the day. People sub on other teams. They get to know each other. Everyone's really chill with each other. People make a lot of friends through the league.
Definitely.
And I feel like the environment of being out in the park in the sun, when it's not too hot or not raining, is just like the perfect day. Saturday.
Agreed.
The way to spend it.
Yeah, I love my Saturdays at Le Bear.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's go start with D1.
All right.
A very interesting game. Moretti Crime Family and Bitter Boys. That game went to overtime.
Bitter Boys should have won that game very easily. They screwed it up for themselves. They were up by, I don't remember how much, but they were up. They had the ball. Moretti was down to 1 timeout. and there were under 3 minutes, I think almost 2 minutes left. I was scorekeeping, not reffing, and they had just gotten a first down. So essentially they could kill almost all the clock if they just took a knee. But instead, they throw one pass to the end zone and score a touchdown, and they're celebrating, and they went up. So at that point, they went up by 8. So they were up by 2 points. That's right. So they went up by 8, and in my mind, Moretti let them score because that was really only the way they could get the ball back. Exactly.
To score and convert on 2 points.
So they, I'm sure in their head said, we let them score, we stop them on the convert. It's an 8-point game, and we have the ball back. Because the other option is we don't let them score, we try to stop them. The best case scenario is we have no timeouts, and there's like a minute left on the clock at best. Probably less. And that's if they don't get a first down, and that's if they just like 3-and-out them at that point, which seemed also somewhat unlikely. And so I believe they just let them score.
Bitter Boys were celebrating that touchdown, not aware of what was going on?
Yeah. I'm not sure that...
I mean, you still want to score.
I'm going to say I think Moretti was doing that. I don't know, but...
You still want to
score, but it's that... who was the running back that like was going into the end zone?
Oh, and then
just sort of fell in and went, oh no, the moment he went. Yeah, it was that, except they didn't realize they shouldn't have scored. They didn't have a coach saying, don't score.
Yeah, but I thought Mario was the coach on that team.
Well, he was playing, so he was too out of breath, I think, to explain what to do. But yeah, so Moretti got the ball back, marched down the field, even though they've been struggling on offense all game, but that drive they just clicked, got it together, marched down. They didn't have
their star quarterback, Joy Taylor.
No, I know. I'm not saying there wasn't a reason they were struggling on offense, but I'm just saying they really pulled it together and played well for the last drive. Scored on the convert. Didn't even know there was an overtime, but we went to overtime, and they won it on the first play. I mean, not the first play, the first convert series.
Convert series, yeah. Because last time we saw Joey Taylor, he won that huge game against the Ninja Turtles, and he's been gone for 2 weeks, and now Moretti has a win and you're in, or like do or die situation against the Turtles. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe he's on vacation.
Well, it's also interesting, is he going to be back for the playoffs?
Yeah.
Because that then I guess every D1 team is hoping that they get in. I mean, I think every D1 team hates the henchmen. So that was the goal. I made a team, and I was like, I want a team that people hate.
Yeah, because looking at the standings right now, it's pretty crazy that Centurions actually have the 4 seed, but they're clinched into the playoffs.
Shh, don't tell Centurions.
Whereas Moretti Crime Family is holding the 3rd seed, and Henchmen are still alive. Unfortunately, Trollers and Bitter Boys, their season is over. They both played 10 games, and they are not going into the playoffs. A little disappointing for the Trollers. Everyone had them as a playoff team before the season started.
Yep.
Is it really the Kevin Cousset effect of him not being there?
I don't know. I know they had injuries this season, and I know they had missing guys. Are we still not talking about the fact that Moretti is a winner?
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. We're saving the best for last.
We're on that now.
Yeah.
Okay. Trollers. So we're starting with the worst now.
Yeah. Just asking if
they had the worst season for who they are and who that team is. They had a really bad season. I think
Max coming back from that injury, obviously.
Max being injured is a huge difference. Losing your mobility as a quarterback with no mobility, I can tell you it makes the game harder. But I think he's even worse because I think it's painful for him to run around. So when your mind is telling you don't run, don't move, don't do these things, it makes... I mean, I've seen him run a few times, and you can see like when he's about to get tackled, exactly. He's just like, I'm done with this run.
Yeah. He doesn't even try to...
He's not trying to beat anybody out. He's
if
not
he sees the open space, he'll take the extra steps, but then he's just going to almost...
And that's killer. I mean... and also to be so used to quarterbacking one way and then suddenly have to change to be like a pure pocket passer, especially in flag. Like if you're not used to that, then it's so difficult to adjust.
And I believe Max's nickname is Hips.
Yeah, exactly.
He's good at making people miss.
He can still do that, but it looks like it hurts. Yeah. So I don't know if he does it as much as he normally would.
Hopefully we see them more healthy, better, and stronger in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the roster, and it feels like they should be able to win. I mean, Lesniak's also coming back from an injury, so hopefully that continues to improve.
But at this point, I think Max Sidori has secured that center position for that team going forward.
Probably, but
him and Max have that really good
chemistry. But Mike is still a good player. Yes. Like he'll get you like 5 yards over the middle or wherever all day long. Yeah. Like he's not quite like Kevin Smuda, but he's still tough to cover because of his size and strength on the ball.
So let's go to the main topic in Division 1. Moretti Crime Family against Les Centurions. This game decides Henchman's fate.
Yeah. It sucks for the henchmen to be in that position, but honestly, those guys should have a better record than they did with that team.
I definitely think, having played them twice this year, they're the team that gave the Outlaws the most trouble, for sure. One game going into overtime, and the first one they were up 2 possessions at halftime, first game of the season.
And that's what I mean. I've seen them blow a couple of leads, and so that's what I mean. Their record should be better.
Yeah.
They've put themselves in this position by kind of losing games in the second half a few times.
Going 0-2 against Henchmen on the season is pretty much what killed them. Had they split
0-2 against Henchmen?
Against Centurions, sorry. Henchmen 0-2 against Centurions. That's pretty much what killed them and put them in this position. Had they won one of those 2 games and split, they probably would have locked up a playoff spot by now.
I believe they would have, right? Because the best Moretti could do is tie them, and they have the advantage with points against.
Exactly.
So any one win, any win anywhere.
So now the question is, what are Centurions going to do, knowing that they're already in? Do they want to keep Henchmen out? Do they want to?
You mentioned that Centurions at least
Centurions
change
with a
who
win.
they play.
Yeah, so
there's some reason to
move up to the 3rd seed and face Ninja Turtles. With the loss, they'll face the Outlaws. So are they playing the want to try to play against this team, or do they rather have the Henchmen out?
I think the thing is, Moretti with their quarterback is up there with the Henchmen anyway. I don't feel like one of those teams is automatically a better case.
Agreed.
I also don't see the Centurions intentionally blowing a game, and unless they're watching this, I'm not sure they're aware that it's them basically deciding the fate.
I assume everyone watches. Let's hope they're watching.
Oh yeah. But don't blow a game, Centurions. Come on now, play fair, be good, or blow it. I don't care.
And then the Outlaws, 9-0, have a chance to go undefeated this season, playing against the Ninja Turtles.
That reminds me of a team called the Iron Wolves, who are also
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that right now.
Now, after Division 1 comes Division 2. I don't know if last week you saw that Willie figured out after 2 comes 3.
Well, he's learning. Our boy's growing up, everyone.
23, 24? How old did you say he was?
I said I thought he was 16. I don't remember what he said.
Yeah, I was surprised DeMario guessed 27.
DeMario was being nice. DeMario was a really nice guy, and he was just being nice to Will.
So I think that's it for Division 1.
Because Jafar picks on Will all the time, and it's just...
I think Will also picks on Jafar.
No, he doesn't. Will wouldn't know how to pick on somebody.
Will has a couple of nicknames for Jafar that I don't think Jafar really appreciates.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe there's stuff going on I don't know.
So that's it for Div 1. If we go to Div 2, one thing I want to talk about, how about that OG Panthers win against the Outlaws?
OG Panthers.
You picked OG Panthers.
I did.
And
I picked them multiple weeks in a row.
You picked them against Honor Game. You picked them against Outlaws. And my guess was, okay, you're in 3rd place in the standings. You got to pick some underdogs. You need some surprise picks. So you're not going with the team that you actually think is going to win.
I genuinely believed in you guys for those games.
Outlaws, really?
I also thought they were the closest to a toss-up.
Okay.
So yes, there's something to do with, I got to come back. But... also, I don't want to pick against you, Terry. That's legit. I see that OG Panthers. I'm not going to pick against Terry. Because, if he wins and I picked against him, I'm not going to hear the end of it. So I'll pick him, and then he won't sass me for it.
Yeah, I kind of changed my mentality on picking Iron Wolves. Earlier this season, I'll pick against you guys, and I'm like, okay.
How's that working out for you?
Yeah, no, I'm picking for you guys, and it's an easy point for me. But, no Louis Mathieu Dufault in this game. No Guillaume Dagger. No Martin Love. We're missing 3 key pieces. And Outlaws team averaging 50 points a game in Division 2 with Steve. On offense, they only scored 3 touchdowns against us. We were able to bother Steve a little bit. He threw an interception.
Steve.
Steve was
disappointing.
Steve kept saying that they can't win games with that defense. They need better defense. But I think the offense wasn't clicking as much as they usually click.
Steve has been bugging me for a safety all year. Steve, I can't play safety for you. I'm sorry. Too good.
And Kevin has been hating on Charles Duchesne.
Kevin hates on everyone.
Yeah, but particularly on Charles, saying that our team is really good, but we're missing a quarterback and all this. And Charles showed him to his face that he could be the quarterback to rally his troops and win this game, even without his top receiver. We know Charles usually concentrates more on Louis Mathieu, and when you look at the receptions on our team, Louis Mathieu has the greater proportion of it, understandably so. And today he just distributed the ball around. Gab Moreau-Paquette, our snapper, had a field day. Kamba caught 2 jump balls. Yes, the outlaw defense is probably their weakness on that team, but
although Steve did throw an interception, from what I understand.
Yes, and Steve did complain about the reffing and all that, but he always does when he loses. Steve's one of my really good buddies, and I play on multiple teams with Steve, and I know how hard it is to beat Steve. So when I get to beat Steve playing against him, it feels really, really good.
Wasn't it Kevin the ref? Or am I...
It was Marvin and JC.
Marvin and JC. Come on, those are good refs.
Yeah, those are very good refs. I found the ref.
I'd like
really
to talk
a
while about how good a ref Marvin is, if we have time. Not right now. At the end, man.
We might get to it later.
With a supplemental podcast.
Yeah, could do a podcast just on the refs.
Just on Marvin. I would like to do.
So yeah, OG Panthers coming off 2 big wins against the Honor Game.
Aren't you guys like 4 wins in a row? Or
5 wins in a row. We have not lost on New Jerseys.
That's why I'm picking you guys.
We have not lost with those New Jerseys.
I'm picking the jerseys.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how are you gonna pick against us now? And
so, are you the team that everyone's scared of facing now?
I don't know.
Where do you sit in the playoffs?
Right now, we're in 2nd place, and we have a chance to lock up 1st place and get a bye.
Wait, what's the Outlaws' record?
The Outlaws are currently 6-3.
And you are?
We're 6-2. Honor Game is still number 1 at 7-2.
Oh, Honor Game, of course.
Honor Game is number 1 at 7-2. OG Panthers are number 2 at 6-2, and then Les Petits Phoques and Outlaws sit at.
Who do Honor Game play to end the season? Do you know?
Honor Game, Perlé, Les Petits Phoques. No, sorry, they just played the Petits Phoques. Look it up quickly.
This is unprofessional. Is what this is.
A little less preparation this week. More winging it. Is that what they say?
Winging it. We're off the cuff.
Oh, they're playing Joyce Haters.
Oh, well, okay. Free win.
Free win?
Oh.
Throwing shade at your boy. Ouch.
No. Honestly, Joey's Haters, good team. I think the last time they played it was a 1-score game. If I'm maybe
it was a 2-point game.
2-point game.
Yeah, very close.
That's within 1 score.
Yeah.
I think if
Yes. I was just being more precise. So basically, Honor Game right now are in 1st, but if OG win out, they'll have that bye with.
And who are you guys playing?
We know only 7 teams making the playoffs in Div 2, so that number 1 team gets a bye to the semis, and we're playing Les Petits Phoques, and we're also playing Joyce Haters.
Okay.
And right now, Honor Game, OG Panthers, Les Petits Phoques, Outlaws have all clinched a playoff spot. Unfortunately, Les Longs Chefs and Les Munitions are out. But then there's 4 other teams battling for the 3 remaining playoff spots. So we got KOB, Joyce Haters, Red Zone, and Dynasty, all sitting at 4-4 or 4-5. They all have 4 wins. And there's a bunch of tiebreakers going on. It's any team could really make it. So KLB, Joyce Haters have 2 games remaining. Basically 2 wins would for sure secure their playoff berth. 3 out of these 4 teams could not win a game and still be in. So there's a lot going on there. We're not going to go exactly into the details with every single scenario because there's 4 teams, 3 are going to make it in. But
I feel like we'll have a much better idea after Saturday.
Yeah, after Saturday we'll have pretty much like certain idea. And like the tiebreakers are all over the place. Like Joyce Haters have a tiebreaker over Red Zone, but not KLB and Dynasty. Meanwhile, Red Zone have the tiebreaker over KLB and Dynasty. Dynasty, that's currently outside looking in, has a tiebreaker over KLB and Joyce Haters, but not Red Zone. So
it could go a lot of ways.
Yeah, and it just goes to show, I think, how competitive and the parity in Division 2 is right now.
Yeah. I feel like Division 3 is similar.
Yeah, well, you want to go to Division 3 like a couple of times? We're going to get there. We're going to get
Only
there.
division that matters.
Before we get there,
I'm not doing trophies for anyone else.
Also, like...
Svetna broke my trophy in Div 1. Let's just keep that in mind. I don't know why I'm bringing that up. Just come on, Svetna.
And then another thing I wanted to get into is Lone Chef and Lean Machines had a really difficult beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And I recently refed Lean Machines game. They didn't have their quarterback, but they kind of held their own against KLB, who's a really strong Division 2 team. And these are 2 teams at the beginning of the year we said maybe they should have been Div 3 teams, but looking at them now, they built that chemistry, they got used to playing on that field, and they're maybe just a quarterback away or just a quarterback being more comfortable.
I feel like they're a little more experienced, especially at the quarterback position, away from being true D2 teams. I think this year, if we put them in D3, they would have been strong D3 teams. That may have been the better option, but like you're saying, now
they gained that experience.
Look more like a D2
even
team.
Too strong for D3. So
yeah, they'd be a very strong D2. But there's going to be a lot of movement between D1, D2, and D3.
Yeah, because you're looking at their progression, and they'd be getting maybe blown out early on, and now the games they haven't won many games each of them, but the games have been a lot closer, and they had chances to win the games, and they've been scoring more points. And
I was impressed last time I saw Long Chefs. They were holding their own, and they looked like a different team from what I saw at the beginning of the season, and they didn't have their quarterback, so it was and I subbed for Lean Mean Machines.
You got them their only win.
I got them their only win. I didn't get it. Just honestly, it's just if they had a quarterback with experience, that team has talent.
Yeah, it has talent.
It's just they just don't have that.
And the quarterback has talent. You're just not used to playing flag football, I think.
Well, that's what I mean by experience. Even guys who play football at other levels have to get used to how it's different in flag. And I believe that team will be good with more experience.
Yeah.
What they could use, honestly, is their quarterback playing a few games with an experienced quarterback to see what they're doing.
He could always stick and watch other games. And
yeah, I feel like it helps to be in the huddles sometimes to see what a guy's doing. You know, like one thing I always notice with less experienced players is like there's so many deep balls going up. There's so many things just throwing up, and then you've got like I don't know the best player in the league. You got Marvin back there, and he's
the best player in the league.
D4 player of the millennium. He's back there playing safety, and you're chucking it up. No, I mean, like, legitimately, I was reffing a game, and it was Marvin. I think he had 4 or 5 interceptions. I think at one point he intentionally dropped one.
Marvin doesn't intentionally drop. Even if it's fourth down, and, like, you get the ball at midfield.
I think he was genuinely being nice. I don't know if that was a D2 game. Maybe
even if you're whispering in his ear, don't drop it, Marvin. Bat it down.
That wasn't a D2 game. It was, like, a lower div game. And, it was just, like... New quarterbacks like to throw deep all the time because they think that they're also not used to how little time they have.
Also throwing deep in the middle. Like, that's one thing I learned when I started playing quarterback. Like, you'd think
I do that just to hurt my receivers.
Throwing in the middle, like, when you throw on the sideline, there's so much more chance of it being a catch or an incompletion.
Yeah, exactly.
The percent of time where it'd be an interception, you really need to have a really strong defender to intercept those sideline, like, straight flies or goes. But if you're throwing a post or, like, a seam in the middle, like, the ball's not almost perfect, it's going to get intercepted by, for sure, Marvin, and most probably any other player.
Marvin might not even be playing in the game. He will come across and pick it off
easily. Speaking about that quarterback, maybe should be in the huddle. It was a little bit controversy in the Outlaws OG Panthers game.
There was some illegal substitution or rare penalty.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with the rules, and Kevin was telling JC that, because basically OG Panthers were driving at the end of the game with a couple of minutes left. We were up a couple of points. Basically, we were up 1 and we scored a touchdown. We went for 2 to make it a 9-point game and a 2-possession lead. Outlaw scored, and then we got the ball back. So I was just going in the huddle to make sure to let them know, hey guys, don't stop the ball right away. Wait till 10.
Be the 7th guy.
Yeah, but I was in the huddle, and then they were saying I'm not allowed to be in the huddle. But there's no rule currently in the rule book that says that. In the NFL, there is.
You're
but
like the
NFL...
Bill Belichick of the league. Like, we have to make rules because of you.
No, that's also Mario.
Oh no, but that's a different type of have to.
There's also a Steven rule.
There is a Steven Brossard rule, but that was actually a rule that he asked me about. He didn't try to do so.
But I mean, I wasn't really gaining an advantage besides just being there. I could have was yelling it from the sideline. Hey guys,
you say that, but
I was also letting them know that and then So I think it's going to be a rule going forward.
It will be added to the rule book this week.
Okay, so I won't be doing that anymore.
There you go.
I'll just stay on the sideline and cheer them on.
No worry, the refs still won't know. They don't read the rule book.
Exactly, and when Kevin was really adamant about it, and he's like, "You for sure can." And so I'm like, at one point, I'm like.
He's right that we've said this. I've called this. I have called this, and it's not in the rule book.
But I'm like, at the same time...
It's a rare penalty, though. Illegal substitution, in flag. Come on.
Exactly, yeah, come on. And that's probably why we won the game and Outlaws lost, right?
Well, that is why. I mean, if everyone could illegally substitute, every game is going to be a win for everybody.
So let's go to your division, Division 3.
Why didn't we cover the forfeit in D1? We skipped over that.
Yeah.
So what I understand
Let's go back to D1.
Let's go back to D1 for a second. Right when we're going to D3 too. I've been so desperate to get to D3, suddenly back to D1.
Yeah, so it was Outlaws.
How about them Outlaws?
Outlaws, Bitter Boys.
And Bitter Boys.
Bitter Boys fresh off that OT loss.
So Marvin, Guillaume was hurt, and so was the quarterback. So Marvin gets over, he's in their face, right? He's up in their face talking trash about how they can't, stay up, and they're whining about being
wimps.
Guillaume is literally blood all over his face.
I don't care.
And he just said, "You look like a sissy." So Marvin talked all this trash to him, and Mario got upset and said, "Okay, fine, we're going to forfeit." And then Marvin just got very upset about that, and I believe that's exactly how that went down. And then they left, and that was all there was to it.
So I think the true story, maybe we could get it from.
I think they asked if they could take subs, and Marvin jokingly said, "You have to ask John," and then
John decides everything.
Because I decide everything, and but Marvin was kidding, and then Mario, I think, took that as a reason that maybe they could just say, "Screw this, we're going home."
Would have been their last game of this season.
It was their last game of the season. They had just played, though. They had just lost that heartbreaker in overtime, and so I think maybe they were ready to just not play the game. And so they took that as an excuse.
The biggest loser in all of this is probably Marvin himself, because Marvin right now is sitting at 17 receiving touchdowns, chasing that JC record at 20 for the most touchdowns by receiver.
How many does he have right now?
He has 17.
And how many games left?
He has one game left right now. It would have been very, very possible with 2 games left.
For sure.
And now you got 1 game left against Ninja Turtles.
You better put up 4.
Yeah, and all this was because of him, right?
Yeah.
All this meaning the game didn't happen.
Well, yeah, exactly. You can't feel bad for a guy who like talks trash
and
gets a forfeit because of it.
Anything else I forgot before going to Division 3?
No, I think we're good. I think we can go to D3 now.
Currently in D3, we got Arnold's, Deep Threats, Nice TDs, and Les Tannants already clinched a playoff spot. Big Boys
and I think one of those teams is already clinched first, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I'll get to that. Big Boys and Chiefs are out, and we got 5 teams battling for 3 playoff spots. We'll get to that.
That's
but
a tight division.
As you just mentioned, Arnold's have clinched the first place.
We clinched it last week, just to be clear.
Are you guys playing for an undefeated season? Do you care about your last game?
The rest of the team does.
Are you going to rest your arm?
I don't terribly care.
Are you going to rest your arm? Throw out the left arm? Only go put.
Well, look, this week I put Chris in. I replaced myself.
Take Jaff up on that bet if you rush for 100 yards.
I was told I have to. Attempt to do this.
But
I don't.
Told this?
Well, people were saying they want Jaff to be wrong. I think people just want to see me super tired.
And then you'd also get like a full day of ref salary from him for it.
That's true. Okay, well then I'll tell you what, Average Joe's, I'll give you $50 if you let me run 100 yards.
Or you could just give them the win.
Or yeah, I'll tell you what, you let me run 100 yards.
And then they'll get the win.
And then we'll walk away.
Average Joe's is one of those teams on the outside looking in right now that need that win.
I want $100 more than I want an undefeated season.
And yeah, this is another division with so much parity. Like you're looking at from the, like you guys are 9-0, but then it's 7-3, 6-3, 6-4, 5-3, 5-4, 4-5, 4-5, and the Mustard Tigers, who started 0-5, 3 straight wins, are playing the 2 of the less weaker teams in the division, Big Boys and Chiefs, with 2 wins in that last week. They have a chance of getting in as well.
Yeah, but they need to win both, and for a few other people. Yes,
and they need some other stuff. But it's just crazy to see when you see teams.
It is great to see.
You start the season 0-5, and you still have a chance to make it in.
Yeah, and yeah, like I think someone said, I think Will said last week that the MFL is better when the Mustard Tigers are good.
Yes, he did.
And that's true. Really so I'm super glad that they won 3 games in a row. I want them to keep winning so we can crush them in the playoffs. But I feel like it's going to be really tough. I'm just looking over here at the standings, and I feel like it will be really tough.
Yeah.
Like, is it even really possible?
It is really possible because Average Joe's could lose against Iron Wolves. So then Mustard Tigers with the 2 wins would jump Average Joe's. Old School are playing Washington Foreskins, and they sit at 4 wins. If they lose that game, they end the season of 4 wins. Washington Foreskins...
Okay, so they're in at that point. Those 2 things happen.
Those 2 things happened, they're already in.
Okay.
Then they could finish with the same record as Black Knights and Washington Foreskins. I believe they do not have the tiebreaker against them, but there could be a situation where there's a 3-way tie, and they could still make it in.
But who's Black Knights playing?
Black Knights are playing the Washington Foreskins as well. So Washington Foreskins right now sitting at the 5 have Black Knights and Old School right behind them at 6 and 7, and they're playing both of them.
So if they lose,
that was good scheduling on your part.
There you go. It's exciting stuff.
Yes,
all intentionally done.
We got some. Oh yeah, some other. KOB have 2 games left, and they're playing Long Chef in both their last games.
All intentionally done.
Yeah, that was like less nice stuff.
What happened? Okay, no. There was just a lot of people who wanted to change stuff at the last minute, and there were some changes made, and.
Imagine you didn't play the team all season long. It's week 10,
7 teams,
and then you play the same team twice in the doubleheader to end the season.
Well, there you go. Well,
but this one was good. So Washington Foreskins have to really prove if they're actually a playoff team or not, right? Because now they're playing the Black Knights and Old School, who are 2.
Now, are they one of the teams that has 2 wins from another division? Or
yes,
am I making that up?
They have 2 wins from D4 moving up. They didn't have those 2 free wins coming into D3.
They have free wins in D4. They're just easier wins.
Yeah, but like any other team battling for a playoff spot right now would have probably exchanged 2 games at random for 2 D4 opponents.
Sure.
But yeah, given the disparity early on in the season, we had no choice to move some teams up, move some teams down, and it's what worked the most. That's what the MFL has been doing every year, every time that happens. So we kept the same model for that. So yeah, it could easily Average Joe's have a really tough matchup against Iron Wolves, depending on how you're going to approach the game.
I will try to win.
You are missing willpower.
We are missing willpower.
And
we're bringing in Marvin.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think we should have any subs this week, actually.
All right, full roster?
I think so. The only other one we might be missing is Iggy, who might have to travel, but I don't think so.
Again? Didn't he just travel?
He was saying he might have to travel again. This is up in the air travel. I don't know. I would imagine it would probably be more of an issue possibly in the playoffs, which would suck. Don't quit your job, Iggy.
Seriously, don't you
Priorities.
choose a job that does you could be there
if you have to travel on the weekend?
Yeah.
Come on.
So, out of the 5 teams battling for these final playoff spots, it seems much more likely it's going to be Washington.
I can just tell you right now who it's going to be.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you'd like. I'm sorry, Average Joe's, but you're going to be out because you're going to lose. I'm going to say the Foreskins are going to lose both of their games.
Both of their games?
So the Black Knights are...
Wow.
And who did you say the Mustard Tigers? And Mustard Tigers are going to win both. So
and still not make it?
They would make it at that point.
No, because Old School would beat Foreskins.
Yes. So but unfortunately...
then we'd have like a 3 or 4-way tie with Mustard Tigers.
Okay, so I know who's going to win what games, but I don't know what the standings will be. That's how tight it is. I can tell you who's going to win, and I still got to figure out who's...
But it's super exciting when like you're coming down to the last week, and there's still like 5 teams available to make the playoffs for 3 spots.
And they all have a legit shot.
Yeah,
this is not like outside nonsense.
2 of these teams are going to be really good teams on making the playoffs. Like Average Joes have been a really big surprise and been nothing but average this year.
Yeah, they've been really good.
And Mustard Tigers, the way like they have way too much talent on their squad to have started 0-5. Foreskins they were missing players at some point in the season, and they lost a couple of games after like beating some good D3 teams. Old School with Dyke, you can never count them out. No. And then Black Knights with Leon, JC, Sean. Like
I feel like Black Knights look really good. I'm amazed that they're right. I asked JC the other day, like, oh, you joined like halfway through the season or something, right?
No, it was
like the second game. Yeah. Their record should be better than that, given who they have.
Yeah.
Like, they've got a solid quarterback. They got one of the best receivers in the league.
Marvin?
Yeah. He's on the team, or is he on?
You said the best receiver in the league, so
I said Marvin.
Yeah.
Whenever I say the best anything in the league, I mean
I think
Marvin.
you were talking about JC, though, so like second best.
Second best. Yeah. Well, he's the best receiver on that team.
Yeah.
But they also have a lot of other solid players. That's like a good-looking team, and they're 5-4, which is weird.
So I'll ask you the question: who's the team you don't want to face in the playoffs in D3 if you could avoid facing them? You have the bye, so you're like in wait and see mode in that first round, sitting back and seeing who you're going to face. You're going to face the lowest seed remaining.
Well, I'll tell you teams I don't want to face and why. I don't want to face the Nice Tees because I like Chris and Andrew, and I don't want to break their hearts. and we will. I'm sorry. Deep threats are always a bit of a worry because they've got this guy John Svetna who broke a trophy of mine. So
he also breaks a lot of records.
Maybe pay me back for breaking the trophy by throwing the game if we play. No, but them I have concern, but I still think we can take them.
You didn't play deep threats that game. You had actually John Svetna playing quarterback. So
John Svetna played quarterback for the first possession and a half, maybe 2, but then he went receiver.
Okay. But they still didn't have JC.
But they didn't have their proper quarterback, so it's one or the other, right? It would have been slightly closer, but we would have tried harder. We weren't really trying in that game. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Will tells me never tries with Iron Wolves.
I don't think he ever has
tried ever.
Yeah,
I see him trying with.
I think half that team is slacking, quite frankly.
How are you guys not to know? Maybe that's the recipe.
Because we're good. Because we're so good.
That's the recipe.
I think Black Knights. That worries me. That's a really good team, and so
you guys played them this season.
Our last game was against
it's true, but you didn't.
But I wasn't playing because I had the ref. But we went up big. We went up 3 scores in the first half, like 21-0 or something.
So you told Chris to tone it down?
No, I didn't. I didn't know any of this until afterwards. I would never tell Chris to tone it down. If anyone, ramp it up, man. Get excited.
Attitude included.
He's just too calm. That's the problem with Chris. I want to hear you, man. I want to hear you're a leader. I would say I don't remember what I was talking about, but Black Knights. There, I would say of all the teams there, or 10 if they have all their team.
Yeah, exactly.
But Black Knights, I think, is like the team I hope gets knocked out before the bye round that we have.
Because you have a good chance of facing them in the semifinals if they win. If they win
we have no chance of facing them if they lose.
Yes, that is correct. And speaking about Chris, and last week you saw the award, the prediction show. Me and Will were going back and forth for best quarterback. If you want to give your final pitch right now, why you think you deserve it over Chris? Because I know Chris gave me one at the field. He told me he's way older than you, so even if his stats were shittier than yours, he deserves it.
Chris is not way older than me.
He acts as if he's like the oldest player ever.
He's older. He is very good for his age. All right.
But aren't you as well?
Well, no, I'm very good. Period. Don't gotta put no qualifier on that. No, I think
because you guys have very, very similar stats. I was breaking them down and like really back and forth. Like,
I think I think it could honestly go either way.
Okay, that's what you're saying to be nice, but what do you actually think?
No, legitimately, I think he and I have similar situations where we have some newer players on the team. Like
you each have a henchman D1 player.
We each have a henchman D1 player. They have two. They have two.
Yeah, but as a quarterback, you each have a weapon who's a henchman D1 player.
Yeah. So I think it's very similar what we have. and what we're working with. And I think although our styles are definitely different, I feel we're very close. I think skill wise as quarterbacks, we play very differently, but it's a very similar thing. That's why I felt like, for example, replacing me with him in that game was fine because
I don't think anyone.
I don't think you're getting a huge advantage or disadvantage one way or the other.
Yeah.
I would be fine if Chris won it. Unfortunately, I have veto power on the awards, so sorry, Chris.
I said it from the beginning. Speaking about the awards and something else we discussed last week, since we have you on the show, we could ask you now. You know how, like, when you play in a higher division, you cannot win an award in a lower division. What would happen if, for example, you'd only quarterback a D5 team? You're obviously a D3 quarterback. You won the award in D3. You even won in D2.
I'm obviously a higher D than that.
I mean, right now.
Yes, okay.
Or like the Dom LaFour situation.
I shouldn't be in D5.
No, like the Dom LaFour situation. If Golcock were playing this year, he would have been playing in D1. It just so happens that he's not playing in D1.
Yeah.
He's won quarterback of the year. He's the reigning quarterback of the year award winner in last spring, I believe. He's won a D1 championship.
For D1.
Yeah. And this year, champions, he has no D1 team. He's still eligible for the award by the technicality that we're using.
I don't think he's played enough games, realistically.
But
let's say he did.
Yeah, let's say.
No, I mean, he's played enough to qualify, but I feel like...
But like,
maybe. Are his stats there?
Not for quarterback, but they may be for MVP, given that how day and night and day difference it is with the...
You know, in D2, I would say... I'm trying to think of all the teams. I'm trying to think of all the stats right now. I think...
We got
who would you say the top quarterback is in there?
Right. Well, excluding like Max Rosenfeld and Stephen Harper, who play D1, we have Dave Daou and Jonathan Plourde, who were like the top two contenders for the award. I
don't know. I feel like I think you could put Dave Daou as the quarterback of the year.
I'm just saying, let's say Dom balled out this year, and
I think I would still give Dave Daou or Plourde the trophy.
Well, would
over
Dom be
Dom.
excluded from it because of the fact that he's
No. I'm just saying even now.
Yes, now, but
he wouldn't be. He wouldn't be because that's the highest division.
Okay.
Like I played D1 last year, right?
Yeah, you did.
And so that doesn't exclude me from
winning it.
D3.
But you're also the commission. You can decide what you want.
I do what I want.
Exactly.
I could give myself the D1 trophy. Who's going to stop me?
You could just not bring it to the field.
I can literally do what I want. So
we see in the rule books.
It's a good thing I'm a benevolent dictator.
Well, at least now it's not just actually, it was never just you deciding on the awards. It was even worse than what it is now. It was the complete opposite of a dictatorship.
Yeah, it was overly democratic. Democracy doesn't work, people. It doesn't work.
He literally sent a link to the captain, and he'd send it to his team, his family members, people in other countries.
No. You have to be in the team.
As long as you put an email address, but we're actually verifying all the email addresses. So
don't.
And then some captains would not.
Yeah, exactly. Essentially, it became which team voted more.
Yeah.
And that wasn't great. And then we did our internal committee, which we've actually shrunk down a little this year because I don't think we even need that many people to pick me as the winner.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't even vote. I just tie break. So that's it.
Or you vote when it's like, let's say, Chris in your situation.
Oh, there doesn't need to be a vote for that. If I'm involved, there's no, you're just throwing your vote away.
So I think you're also winning best rusher, best center, best defender.
In divisions I don't even play in.
Yeah. Not going to leave any for Marvin?
Well, I'm going to give it to both of us. It'll be a shared award. Remember that Olympic gold? I didn't even watch the Olympics, but there was that Olympic gold. That'll be Marvin jumping all over me, all excited, overly Italian. You heard me.
Anything else you want to mention in D3 before we move to D4?
No, I think I'm good.
Arnold's favorite to win it all?
I don't know. We have played some of the tougher teams when they were missing players, so it's tough to say. I'm not saying we don't deserve 9-0, but I'm saying...
It's going to be a really good playoff. Right?
It's going to be a great playoff. I think D3 is going to be a great playoff.
So in Division 4, Flamboyant Flamingos sit at first 9-0. And also another team in contention for that perfect season. Yeah. They're playing Les Panaches, which would normally be a hard game, but I've heard that they have many players on vacation that last week.
I think they might.
And they were a little angry with you scheduling another game with Flamboyant Flamingos. For example, Thunder Buddies and Titans don't even play Flamboyant Flamingos, but Panache are playing them twice in the span of 3 weeks. But to your defense, they had asked for a time request, time change, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Once you start asking for time requests and time change, I can't necessarily accommodate everything. Also, with the issue with the Flamingos, we're one of those teams that changed divisions, which makes things complicated. So that was just... some of the scheduling, especially towards the end of the season, was just stuff people wanted during the season forced these things to happen at the end of the season.
Which normally you send your stuff before the season and it should go smooth sailing.
Yeah.
You're a pretty nice guy to actually put the effort in and try to change
This season,
stuff.
seriously, with this many teams, it was too much work to accommodate people. And I think actually I just said no to a lot more people than I've ever said before. But next season and moving forward, we are going to charge $50 to change a game.
Because John ain't working for free.
Because I ain't working for free. But really my goal there is to have teams properly think about, properly ask your players, when are you going to be away? Because I'm happy to give you buys. I'm also happy to give you weeks where you never have a doubleheader. And I'm happy to schedule your time as much as I can.
Yeah.
But I gotta know. I don't want to know week 2, week 3 that, we need this week off.
You were telling me before the season started, you were sending the email for time requests and player conflicts, and some teams hadn't even submitted their rosters yet.
Yeah.
Forget about let alone time conflicts and player conflicts, and you don't even know who's playing on multiple teams. You're not going to assume it. If you don't have the player roster and the player conflicts, you might schedule a bunch of conflicts and this, that, and then they come complaining, and then they say, oh, John, you're the worst.
So this year, I have my plan is to put just a spreadsheet out, a shared Google Doc. I think I may have already sent that out.
Yeah, you sent it out.
And it's basically just going to say, here are the conflicts. You tell me, I'll put them in. But look at it and make sure your thing is in there. Because if it's not, it's not going to be on the schedule.
It's happening. You're going to have luck in it. And
well, it's just, to me, it's a way for people to know that I've actually heard what they have to say or not.
So looking at the standings in D4, we have the Flamingos sitting at 9-0. Then we got Panache and Rossas 8-1. Thunder Buddies just played Titans. A little bit of controversy in that game. Steve came down to D4 to break all the records in that division. Throwing, you allowed it. Titans didn't really mind it. No matter what happened in that game and moving forward in the season, Thunder Buddies and Titans are locked into that 4 and 5 position. So maybe just influence who has the home field advantage, which basically just a coin flip if it goes into overtime.
Huge in the MFL.
Yeah. 51% of the teams who have so they didn't mind us. We're going to have the rematch, and I will be there at that game. Unfortunately/fortunately, I had my buddy's wedding, so I had to run off.
Very unfortunately for everybody involved.
Who gets married during the MFL season? Seriously.
I don't know.
I spoke to him. I spoke to his now wife, and I don't know why. It was scorching hot outside. We were all in suits, dying of heat, but it was a beautiful wedding. I'm so happy for him.
Wow, there you go.
And
good on you, Jafar. You did all right.
That's that. But Thunder Buddies and Titans are locked into that 4 and 5. They're gonna play against each other. And my bold prediction in D4 is the winner of that game wins D4. The winner of Titans Thunder Buddies
wins the championship.
Yeah, wins the championship.
Wait, what? So you guys are for sure playing in the first round?
We're for sure playing Titans in the first round. Then we got Flamingos, Panache, and Rossas, who are the top 3. Below we have Serial Killers and Wolfpack.
I don't think that's that bold a prediction. I think when the Titans beat you guys, they're obviously going to go on to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you got the top 3 teams who are really strong in Flamingos, Panache, and Rossas. It's not that bold because yes, Division 4 there's a lot of parity in it, but I find it's a very top end division. You're looking at 9-0, 8-1, 8-1 for the top 3 teams.
Yeah,
that's also the reason why the teams moved up, moved down. So not everyone had a chance to play against everyone. So you have the top 3 teams combining for just 2 losses. Then you have the Titans who played against a team that moved up. They played against a Wolfpack team that had 2 Division 1 players.
Who are the rushers? Because I think it's going to come down. If the Titans beat you guys, I think a team with a really good rusher could beat them.
I don't normally rush in D4, but I might make an exception when we play Titans. Even though Thunder Buddies beat the Titans, you hope what?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with you rushing.
I didn't need you to say it was okay. I'd still be allowed to rush.
In general, I'm allowed to say I'm okay with things.
Ben rushed, I think, for a career high. I don't know if it was a career high, but it has to be 185 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game.
Is that? Have I not done that?
But I'm saying I'm not counting you because obviously. Good. So he comes here. I don't know what his total's at right now, but 185 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. That's crazy.
Wait, 3 rushing touchdowns? 3
rushing touchdowns. He also threw, I think, for 1 or 2, but almost 200 yards rushing. He was running all over the place. And we didn't have we had Rob rushing, who's also he's at least a decent rusher. He's a very good rusher. He has a lot of experience. Yeah. I wasn't there to see what was happening, but I think our defense was playing well enough that his only option was going to be to run it. Titans have been a very, very strong team in that division. I was looking really forward to playing against them. I had actually asked them before asking you if they were okay to move the game to 11 o'clock, and I would have swapped my OG Panthers Outlaws game. I had seen there was no conflict, nothing I was going to have to ask you, ask Steve if everyone was okay with it, because I really wanted to play them. And they actually told me no. And then the week of the game, literally, I think the Tuesday or the Wednesday, I asked them like ahead of time, so I knew when the wedding was going to be. And then the week of the game, they say, "Oh yeah, finally we could do it. We have some players who have a birthday party or something like that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think it's too late."
Yeah,
now.
it was too late.
It was really too late. So then we got Serial Killers and Wolfpack. Wolfpack being the free agent team, Serial Killers a new team. Both teams having good seasons in this like tough Division 4.
Does one of those teams have the D4 Player of the Millennium on it?
Yes. This team was a team that started the season very slow and was bound to be in the red on my graph out of the playoffs. But when Marvin Steinberg joined them, just went upwards from there.
Although they've won without him as well.
They've won without him, but I think it's his presence having been there before and them seeing him on that squad, knowing that he could potentially be back for the playoffs. They don't want to disappoint him.
You got to make the playoffs if you got Marvin on the team.
Yes, he just plays one game with them and he just touched their hands.
But there's also, I mean, a lot of it with the free agent teams, in seriousness, is having somebody who knows the game. Yeah. Because a huge thing for new players is
Marvin knows it well. Move out of the way, I'm picking this ball.
Yeah, that's it. Throw it to Marvin. If you're on the other team, don't throw it to Marvin.
Yeah, that's pretty simple.
Or throw it to him. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He's taking it away anyway. But no, I think having experienced players on these teams, just one or two here and there, really allows free agent players to up their skill massively in 1 year.
Because it's crazy how like everyone who's new to flag doesn't really know. Like you put up those articles of the defense 3-2-4-1. They're reading it, but they still haven't actually done it. When you have someone there, that Marvin, who calls the defense on like other higher division teams, and he's saying, "Okay, we're doing this defense. That means you go there, you go there. You watch for this. Okay, now we're doing this." That like they could take that after and replicate it, right?
There's a lot you can't just say in an article. Although read the article. Yeah, if you're a new team, read the 3-2 and the 4-1 articles.
I was surprisingly I was surprised with those articles.
They made sense.
Yeah, they made a lot of sense.
It was all,
you wrote them yourself, or you found them like on Google?
I wrote them myself. But yeah, I think first off, if you're a new team, stop playing man defense.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like you're gonna get burned. And I hear teams go, "Oh, we're not good at zone." Man is like 10 times harder than zone. Yeah. You need to be better athletes and smarter players than your opponent to play man against them. Maybe mix in man once in a while.
Even then, you have some of the greatest like D1 teams who have better athletes and smarter players and still do not play man.
They're not going to play man because it's too hard.
It's a situational thing when you decide to go.
You can throw it in once in a while, exactly, based on the situation, or just to throw someone off. But like, it is don't play man. Just stop playing man. Yeah.
Unless
learn zones.
Unless you have Marvin.
Oh, well, then do whatever you want. Doesn't matter. Literally just sit on the sidelines and watch.
So in terms of playoff scenarios right now, we have the top 7 have clinched, and Les Bouchers and Sneaky Snakes both sitting at 6 and 3.
I like both those teams.
Both those teams sitting at 3 and 6.
The rest of them don't care for.
Les Bouchers have a tough matchup against Serial Killers. Sneaky Snakes have a slightly easier one against Airborne. Sneaky Snakes need the win, and they need Les Bouchers to lose. They need the win or Les Bouchers to lose.
Well, that's what it says there. If you're to be believed, that's the reality.
And Les Bouchers, it's they win, they're for sure in.
Okay.
And they could lose and still be in if Sneaky Snakes lose. But they're playing before Sneaky Snakes.
They have a much tougher game. Serial Killers are a really good team.
Yeah.
And
it's that Instagram account, I think.
Yeah. No, but they're getting better. They were good at the beginning, and they've gotten better.
Well, they played their first game against Thunder Buddies, and after that, right on the show, I said, this team's for real. Like, I think we had let like 6 or 12 points against in our first 2 games, and then they scored like 30 on us.
Yeah, no. They're a good team.
And that team doesn't turn the ball over either. I think their quarterback, like a new quarterback playing flag football, you'd expect him to have double-digit interceptions for sure. There's teams who have quarterbacks who have been playing for a long time and throw double-digit interceptions, and this quarterback, like, he doesn't throw many interceptions.
Yeah, no, and that's huge in Div 4, like especially in any lower division. Not throwing picks as a quarterback makes all the difference. This guy actually does not always just go deep. Like he throws it underneath and lets his guys do the work. And in D4, the cushions that defenders give. Defenders, you are way too far away from the line of scrimmage.
No, don't play man. Now you're like, don't play too far.
No, I'm saying play zone closer to the line. If you're short coverage, 5 yards. That's all you want to be away from the line of scrimmage. Maybe even tighter. But don't be 12 yards downfield and then just hit that little drag underneath and there's 10 yards of grass in front of them. Don't do that. Tight zones. Safeties get the hell back. Do not get beat deep.
So yeah, like
and Sneaky Snakes have a no offense to Guillaume and Airborne, but an easier game as Airborne has been struggling this year obviously as well.
And they do have a tougher game, but they did win some games that they probably weren't supposed to win, notably that one against Thunder Buddies, and they have turned their season around since then, battling for a playoff spot now. David Brisson has been getting better at the quarterback position.
Mustard Tigers and Sneaky Snakes turning it around.
Yeah, that's it. They both said, we'll start like 0-5. Who cares? Then we'll just like drama and play out and like have
that's it. We want to make it tight. They want to play the top teams. They don't want to play the bottom
pretty
teams
much.
in the playoffs.
So that's it for Division 4. In Division 5, you left a couple of games. Los Politos, the only ex-winless team, got their first win. Always good to see every team get at least a win on the season. So they got their first win. And, we have the Gordie Howe hat trick. I think we have a new term, the Samuel Jarnet special.
Okay.
He threw a touchdown pass, he caught a touchdown pass, and he scored a pick 6.
Well, there you go.
That's crazy.
That's really crazy
that's
for
really
a single game.
Yeah, so...
someone
might have done it before, but I'm not quite sure.
I'm sure Marvin's done it.
Marvin doesn't really throw touchdown passes.
But I'm sure if he got the first 2, he would just go quarterback for one play. He probably threw it to himself. Technically against the rules,
unless it gets tipped.
Unless it gets tipped.
Yes. So Los Politos get their first win. I think you refed Kevin's Phoenix game.
Yeah, we call them the stacked team.
The stacked team, yeah.
Because he stacks his team, obviously. He was
crying to not go in Division 4.
He will just complain and complain and complain if I don't give him all these top players.
And
then he brings in these outside guys, okay? And he's like, I don't know who they are. D2 talent. And he's like, whatever. It was just a guy I work with. And
he's big, he's strong, he catches balls, he runs fast.
This kid is 16. You don't work with this kid.
Yeah, so they shut out the Gold Rush 21-0 without Travis being there.
That actually wasn't that big a blowout. Gold Rush had a couple drives that
because Kevin doesn't like run up the score,
Well, that's it. But what Kevin did was he would take some of his top guys off, let them march down the field, and put his top guys in. No. I saw him try, though. He legit tried. He does this. Are you tired, maybe? He would say to players, are you tired? Because Vince is there on the sideline. It's like, someone could go in.
And he's like, I don't know. I don't always throw to Vince. I don't just throw to Vince.
Yeah, he doesn't. No, actually, Kevin legitimately spreads the ball around. He does try to get everybody involved. I don't think during the games he's just trying to win. But outside of the games, he wants to win so bad.
And win that award.
And he wants to win everything. But he wants that D5 championship so bad. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, it will break his heart when we make him lose.
Seriously, he might not be there.
And by we, I mean the referees will ref that game.
We're going to ref that game.
Yeah.
And he might not be there.
Check those flags, Kusai.
He might not be there week 1 of the fall season. He might need some time to
Wait, he might not be there?
If he loses that D1 championship. He might need some time to forget about that, move on. He might join out in the league.
Kevin's in 6 leagues.
I think 7. So in D5, all the teams that are going to make the playoffs have clinched. We have Phoenix at the number 1 spot, Gold Rush and Spin Doctors 2 and 3, and Les Las Calls, who have had a very strong end to their season.
Well, don't forget they started in a higher division as well.
Yes, but they came down with no wins.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they started. And they had 2.
Yeah, why they had the hardest? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they're starting at 8 games basically left.
And they still.
So they're 5-3 since they started.
Which is
that's
very
what I mean.
Strong. And
I like that team too.
I could see them upsetting Phoenix in round 1.
I think it's possible. I think you
Kevin
got to rattle Kevin.
Protest a game and.
Well, Kevin would.
Yeah, he's still talking about a game that he should have protested 3 weeks ago. And he spoke to me, but I was reffing, and he was reffing behind me.
I picture him still talking, literally right now. We were
talking about something, and he's like, "Yeah, that game, I could have, but I didn't, because I'm a good guy." But then stop talking about it. So yes. Oh, and for all teams wondering,
I didn't hit that kid because I'm a good guy. Wait, why are you saying this?
For all teams wondering, and you guys should know this, after the head-to-head tiebreakers, it is only points against. It's not the differential, and one reason for that is that there's no point of running up the score. You just want to play better defense in a game where you're up big. And I guess teams that call the game or teams that don't want to play the last couple of minutes, it's a benefit to them in that case. So that's pretty much it for D5.
Wait, who's left there in D5 that's not in?
The teams that are not in are Mimosa Crew and Los Politos.
Okay. These 2 teams, I like them both a lot.
So do I.
And
I love both their jerseys.
Yep.
D5 teams teams that come in with nice jerseys and don't play with pennies.
It's fantastic.
Wow.
I know Mimosa Crew is coming back. I believe they're coming back in the fall, and they're making a couple little changes. But I think that's going to be a great team.
Remaining in D5?
I think so. Yeah.
One of the changes could have been that they're adding Marvin or something.
Well, that's an automatic change now. But yeah, I believe they're coming back with maybe a couple little changes, but I think those guys are going to be great going forward when they start to learn the game. I'm going to say, I think Kathleen had an outstanding game. I ref that last game of the season, and from where I saw her start to where she is now, catching, running routes.
Yes.
I mean, I assume she's running routes correctly. I don't know.
I mean, she might just be turning around, catching the ball, and
she's doing stuff. She's catching
she's doing stuff.
Catching the ball in D5.
Yeah.
All right, you did your job. Go home.
Facts.
Work's done. And Poitos, like super fun guys and girls, and super into it, and look like they're having a lot of fun. And I'm sure they will also improve. Again, quarterback just needs experience. They have a couple guys who can throw on that team. They just need experience with where to go. Stop throwing deep all the time. Throw a 1 yard pass. Let your receiver do the work.
Exactly. And one thing that I almost forgot to mention, like when we post a video on the MFL, I don't get the notifications to my personal Facebook, so I check in regularly to see if anyone's commenting and all that. And one comment that I missed and I just saw like yesterday, that D5 beef that we got, isn't D5 supposed to be the most like sportsman-like thing? And,
yeah, this
like,
is Taylor Teodori talking trash to.
Did Kevin start that? Did Kevin pay her to write that comment? Because like Kevin, we know how much Kevin hates Raph, but I thought it was like Kevin and Raph.
I was repping that game
and like rivalry, but now like Taylor's coming in.
I called it legal substitution in that game.
You falsely called it because it was not yet in the rule book.
Whatever I call it,
did it have an impact in the game?
Pretty much by definition. No, Raph was up big, and I'm going to take Raph's side a little bit here. At the beginning of the game.
So it's John and Raph against Taylor and Kevin.
No. I would never go against Taylor. No, but I mean, he said some stuff about like, oh, he's concerned about these players that they were adding. They looked like athletic players and they were good players, but Mimosa Crew is not stacking their team. They're not dominant. They lost the game big, so clearly they're not trying to dominate. And he said he was like worried about it. He's like, who's this person they're bringing?
This is before the game started.
This is before the game started, and I feel like Mimosa Crew kept that going throughout it. They kept saying like, "Oh yeah, this guy's like saying we're too good," and like now we're down 3 scores or whatever it is.
I would have also rubbed it in if you're complaining about players.
I don't think Raph kept going with it, but I don't think any of it was too bad. But I love the fact that you guys are arguing about it. I love the beef.
But like you don't get that beef in D1.
It's weird to say I love the beef.
You don't even like that beef in D1.
Well, D1.
Did you say you like beef? Aren't you like a vegan?
I am a vegan. So
you just said you like beef.
It's also weird that I did this as I said it. I don't know what this would imply.
But that's some beef we got there, and like I normally like I read
D1 beef is like people legitimately like pissy with one another, and it's like be cool, we're having fun. D5 beef is like shit talking Raph. You know what I mean? Like nobody's.
That's why we put Raph in that division to spice things up.
Yeah. That's what he's there for.
And like normally, like
it's like a power kick.
I read Taylor's comments; it made sense and everything. But like when you're siding with Kevin, like right
that's
there, like, that's a red flag.
If this doesn't work.
It doesn't make sense. Like I can't agree with what you're saying because she's on Kevin's side. And then Kevin was liking her comment, she was liking his comment. Like it was like whoa.
If I said something and then Kevin was like, "Yeah, I agree,"
then you were.
I'd have to rethink my whole life.
You were wrong.
That's weeks of therapy right there.
So
gotta make changes, do things better.
Let's talk about that other league for a whole 2 minutes now. MFL Brossard.
Oh, MFL Brossard, yeah.
The season is done, so great season there.
Yeah.
We know the playoff matchups that will be next week, semifinals and finals back to back.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't be as hot as it was.
We might do a garbage bowl.
Oh, for third place.
I don't think Shake and Bake's available because they seem to be missing a lot of guys lately.
So
but we invite them, but we might play 28-3 versus Rusty Trombones.
But 28-3 are going to want to be there to cheer on that finals. They're not going to want to be playing.
Well, that's the thing. They'd be playing at the same time as the finals.
They're not going to accept that. If they're coming to cheer on the finals.
But that's the only way we can work it.
No, but they could come to watch the finals.
Sure, but maybe they want to play. Oh, I'm going to try. I'm going to try and see what people say.
But you're going to ask the 3 teams that make the playoffs and see if 2 of the 3 accept?
Yeah.
And if all 3 accept?
Well, then we don't do it. Don't have prisoner's dilemma. Don't do it.
I mean, I want to see the 23 being there to cheer on my team. We got breaking news. Marvin Steinberg was not supposed to be there for those playoffs. He will finally be there.
I know. That actually is huge.
Will Power, unfortunately, will not be there.
Will Power, who cares? You got Marvin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously. But, Marvin's going to be there, so we have a chance.
So, who you guys, you playing
So, we're playing you guys. Yeah. So, we got Mick Touchdown, who finished first, playing Jackrabbits in the one semifinal. Then we got the Outlaws playing Ben and Circuses in the other semifinals.
I'm going to say we will try our hardest. but the final is probably going to be big touchdown.
I think
versus...
if you take the Saturday off and not throw against Average Joes, you'll have a much better chance on Sunday.
Average Joes would love that.
Yes, because you guys have so many ballers on that team. I know that the team is like a very balanced team, but with JC and David St. Jean on that team,
yep,
and Nick Blaise also on that team,
yep.
He wasn't there.
No, he wasn't there. Today.
Okay, he'll be there next week.
I think so.
You got like 3 real good studs, and then I'm not even talking about you then at that point, right? So that's like you guys are a tough matchup. Like before we played the Outlaws, you guys were one of the hardest teams to play against, and I think it was a very close game. Will picked you off a couple of times because you thought you were playing with the Iron Wolves, so you mistakenly threw the ball there. But that's good. I can't see it not being a close game.
We will,
and you know not to throw Marvin. Like you talked about it all the show.
I will try not to. But that the thing is, even when you don't throw to Marvin, it still takes a lot of your like field away from you. Like there are whole swaths of the field where you're just like, don't throw there, which makes it easier for the defense to cover the short because it's when you have a really good safety, it just makes everything easier because the guys on the short balls can be so much more aggressive. Yeah,
I completely agree with that. But it'd be nice to see that maybe JC or David St. Jean match up against Marvin on the deep balls.
Yeah.
Because we know JC got hops, right? JC could go up there and could really get those 50-50 balls.
I got to improve my accuracy. I did not throw well today.
What was the reason of that?
I got smacked in the eye like 2 weeks ago. I still have trouble seeing. This is legitimately. Like, I have like a dark ring here. And, no. Doctors.
And then on the other,
there's like a long wait for doctors, right?
Yeah,
like
Kevin's been to the hospital a couple of times recently.
Kevin just goes to the hospital. I don't know why. You never notice it's like, it was nothing. I went home, and you're just like, did you actually see a doctor, or did you just hang out at the hospital
with no shirt on?
That's what I pictured. No shirt. What are you here for, sir? What do you think I'm here for? Hanging out.
And then we got Outlaws and Bread and Circuses. Like, we know how good Outlaws are, defending champs in Brossard, that division.
Yeah.
Bread and Circus have been so strong, but the 2 times they played against the Outlaws, it was so one-sided. So this game is, I don't know what team is going to show up because I've seen like them at their best and I've seen them at their worst.
I think Bread and Circuses have like talent across the board.
Everyone's
nobody crappy on that team.
Everyone's good.
But
and now
I don't know. Is it? I noticed the quarterback holds on to the ball a long time and like is always looking for something. So is it that like he doesn't have developed plays right now?
Maybe just like one
just
lead.
Designed to get in. Like just to like I would say the same thing to them if they're new at designing plays. Do a lot of short little hitches.
Complete opposite of what Steve does, right? Does not hang on to the ball a lot and goes through his reads really fast.
Well, he runs like one play. Oh, he's got his triple.
It has variance.
Yeah.
Oh, you just gave Bread and Circus what Steve's gonna do.
They're going to run.
I mean, the only team that beat Outlaws this year was McTouchdown. So
and
if
the
anyone
outside
wants to know
guy's
how
going
to
to go
them,
deep, and this guy's going to run a 5 hook. That's it.
That's it.
And they're going to slant towards the go. So if they're slanting right.
Oh my God, you're really giving it all out, eh?
If you don't know this by now. No, he does stuff.
People could know, and it works every single time.
I remember when the Henchmen played them. This was not, I think, in the playoffs. This was like a game which was closer.
Because in the playoffs, that game was not close at all.
He knew that we were just playing that against that play, so he never ran the play.
But even if you know that play, it's really, really hard to stop.
It's really, really hard to stop.
I don't say how you could stop it. If you want, you could try it.
How do we stop it? I have a few theories on it, but like I don't need to know.
I mean, you might play them in the finals, right?
Oh, yes. Okay, so yeah, how do we beat that?
I'll let you know off air. I'm not gonna tell everyone to know. Steve wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
Already when you're playing
Steve, you run more than one play.
Already when you play against Steve and you call out one of his plays, like when he does a certain quads or trips play, and you call out to your defense, like, oh, not cool, man, not cool. But yeah,
I have one trips play and it still works.
Yeah,
so I don't.
You do 2 hooks and
1 hooks and a go.
And
that's it.
Yeah.
Occasionally change it up. Works on a lot of teams for some reason. Because they're too far back. So hooks work way too well.
And you give it a pretty fast player on that 1 hook.
Well, actually, I find if you give the 1 hook to, let's say, a weaker player or the one that they're not putting their best defender on, it works better. It doesn't have to be super fast. It just has to be against.
But then there's lower chance of the pass being completed.
Well, it depends on the division. Like, yes, maybe at certain levels it's going to be a drop, but a 1 hook, when there's a weaker defender covering a player, 1 hook is a pretty high percentage catch. And that weaker defender tends to be way further back.
Or miss a tackle.
Exactly.
Speaking about you throwing poorly today, I saw you throw a very nice ball to Florence deep on the sideline.
She's a talented player too.
Yeah, and it wasn't an easy catch to make because like the ball was a little further out. She was not like it wasn't completely accurate.
Yeah, no.
And she made a crazy catch.
It was accurate
enough.
if she was taller.
Okay, that's her fault. That's completely her fault.
Yeah, come on, we got to be taller.
Anything else on MFL Brossard before we move on?
Rusty Trombones played a great game today, and they beat us, and I'm okay with that.
You okay with it? Yeah.
They played really well.
How was their attitude?
Great. Yeah. They were totally chill.
Everyone stayed to the end of the game?
Well, we ended it with like I think a minute left, and they were like, "Oh, we want to keep playing." So sorry, don't win by so much.
Given the importance of the picks this week, we will not be doing the picks live on air. We need a full week to think about it. John needs to know who's subbing for which team and not share that information with us to make sure. You'll see who's in the league.
I also need to know who's throwing games this week. So like Centurions, if you're throwing your game,
it does not mean throwing like the ball as a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean who's
actually throwing the game away.
Taking a dive.
Yes. So make sure to see that article. That it's 1 week left to see who's gonna. It's a tight race between John, Will, and I.
And in the playoffs, are we talking about this?
We could let them know.
In the playoffs, we're gonna do a spread. So you're gonna see a spread for the game.
How about even an over and under?
Over under is that?
Because I'd say we could like try to predict the score, and then we'll.
Well, that's not predicting the score. That's just
predicting how much. If we predict this, if each one of us predict the score.
Okay, we're picking the spread and the over/under.
Take the average of those scores, and then
that make that our over/under.
That make the over/under, and it make also an over and the spread. That's how we get the spread from it. I already thought this through.
Okay.
Like, let's say
I'll agree with this.
Yeah. I'm the one.
I mean, essentially, you're like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Let's do it, America.
John rarely says no. Anything else you want to add before closing the show? How much a better job did you do than Will?
It's amazing how much better at this I am than Will.
Are you gonna start your own podcast?
No, I'll just replace Will slowly over time. No, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me here. Thanks for letting me talk about the MFL. I love all the players. I love all you guys coming out.
Including Kevin?
You know what? I am in love with Kevin.
Oh my God. He said it. He said it.
No, I love my Saturdays. I love my Sundays. I love being out there, even when it is super hot and or raining and then super hot, like it was on Saturday. It's always the best days of the week. And thank you guys all so much for playing in the league and making it possible.
For winning the show, do Henchmen make the playoffs or not?
Is this my bold prediction?
No, that's not really bold. It's like a 50-50 chance. Do you want to say bold prediction?
I like both of those teams. It depends who shows up for quarterback. I mean, obviously that's an obvious pick. But like if Moretti's quarterback doesn't show up, then I would have to give it to Centurions. I hope Henchmen make the playoffs, but I also want Moretti to make the playoffs. So I don't know.
Any bold predictions?
That was as bold as it gets. That was as fence sitting as it gets.
I want more beef in the comments.
All right,
so
more beef.
Taylor, Kevin, Raf, I don't know if he has Facebook, but get on Facebook, call people out. Tell us what you hate, what you love. How good was John? How bad was John?
I want the Mario, D'Amico, and Marvin.
I want that story.
I want it to escalate.
Yeah.
Like I want it to escalate to a point where everybody's pretty uncomfortable around them.
And we stop reading.
And like so if you're around them in the field, there's just this awkward air and it just makes it unpleasant for everybody. That's what I would really love to
I heard Mario actually apologized and Marvin left him on scene zone or something like that.
Some stuff went down.
Like, who knows what happens on Facebook.
I think it's going to get worse.
Yeah, I can't say getting better. Like Mario's season is done, but he's going to show up at the field next week just for that.
And Marvin doesn't let things go.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah, we know that.
So
doesn't let that ball go either when the ball's in the air and he has to intercept it.
Yeah.
And could bat it down on fourth down. So
my bold prediction next year, Marvin on the Bitter Boys.
Oh, watch that. Hey, Steve. Steve, you gotta keep Marvin on the team.
Gotta balance these things out.
All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you on Saturday, last week before the playoffs. Make sure you show up and let us know what you guys thought about the show.
Yep.